We're going to examine the lubrication system of a Newage 3-speed gearbox. So here you can see the gearbox is fitted to a 1.5 ton dumper. So we're going to start it up and have a look at what's going on. So we're in third gear. So we're going to engage the clutch. So we're going to have a look and see how that affects the individual shafts. So here we can see the guts of a gearbox, and we can see the lay shaft is mounted in this jig, and there's the main shaft and the input shaft, and that's the way the whole thing sits together in the gearbox. Now the lay shaft is running half immersed in oil, so we know where that gets its oil from, and as it turns, it churns the oil up onto the gears on the main shaft. But the next thing we have to consider is how the oil gets in to lubricate the spigot bearing at the back of the force motion or the spigot shaft. So we're going to put that down on the bench, and we're going to separate the main shaft from the force motion shaft. So you can see now that the main shaft has a spigot, and that spigot runs on needle roller bearings in the back of the spigot shaft. So we have to be able to get the oil in there. So we're going to look at the gearbox and see how this is done. So we're going over to the gearbox now, and here's the gearbox casing stripped down, and we can see here that everything is being removed. The lay shaft's being removed. The only gear that's in there now is reverse idler. And we can look up at the top of the gearbox and we can see a little well or a reservoir. And we just have a bit of wire sticking through that. So oil gets thrown up into the reservoir and is free to leak down through that hole. So we look at the oil seal housing for the spigot shaft, and we can see that there's a corresponding hole in it. And then if you look at the outside, there's a dot on the housing, and that's to help you locate the housing in the correct orientation so as the holes line up. So this allows oil to come from the little reservoir down through the hole, into the hole in the oil seal housing, and out. So we're going to have a look at that now. We're going to squirt some oil through so as you can see the oil passage. So there you can see the oil coming out. So when it goes there, we're going to have a look at the spigot shaft now, and we can see that there's an oil hole there. So the oil is down as far as there now, so we're going to squirt some oil in there and see how it gets into the needle roller bearing inside the spigot shaft. So there you can see the oil. So that's how the whole thing is lubricated. So now we're going to go back to the gearbox fitted to the engine. We're going to put a perspex cover on the top, and we're going to run it, and we're going to see how the well fills up. I'll just point out the well there before you. So there's the well. Okay, let's put the cover on, and we're going to go this way. Okay, we're going to start it up, and this time we're going to run it a bit faster, and we should be able to see the well filling up with oil.